If you're asking yourself, should I move to Japan? Whether you're wondering if you can survive economically or whether you'll fit into the society, you have come to the right place. In this video, based on my own experience, I want to walk you through what you actually need to know so you can make an informed decision yourself. Now, before talking about food or work or money, there's one question you have to ask yourself, which is, why do you want to move to Japan? Because when you move to another country, you're leaving behind your career momentum, your social circle, and your family support. So in many ways, you're starting from scratch. If your reason isn't strong enough, it becomes very easy to give up and just leave within the first couple years, especially once the honeymoon phase wears off. In my case, I didn't actually choose Japan per se. It's actually the opposite. Japan chose me because back when I was still in Hong Kong, I applied to a lot of different jobs across the world, and only one company in Tokyo hired me, so I came. Whatever your reason is, it needs to be strong enough to carry you through learning the language, adapting to a completely different culture, following unfamiliar social rules, and sometimes working jobs you wouldn't otherwise choose. Speaking of social rules, let's talk about Japanese society. After living in Tokyo for 2 years, what struck me the most is the strong emphasis on not causing trouble for others. So like in daily life, like you have to constantly remind yourself, like, am I doing something that is causing trouble for others? I think this is like constantly in Japanese people's head when they go out or when they are living their lives. And to give you an example, having a phone call on the train is generally considered as bad manners in Japan. And it really highlights the principle of living in Japan, which is to minimize disruption. Japan is often described as a collectivist society, and I think that description is accurate. People follow both written rules and unspoken rules very closely, and there is very little tolerance for bending them, in my opinion. I came from Hong Kong, and this felt very different. In Hong Kong, rules definitely exist, but the enforcement is much more flexible. The city is less orderly, obviously, compared to Japan, but people adapt quickly to changing situations. The upside of Japan's system is that daily life is incredibly smooth. Things just work. People line up, people are polite, and you can go about your day without constant conflicts or being bothered by strangers. The downside, at least in my experience, is that over time you may become more emotionally reserved. You start keeping more thoughts to yourself and focusing only on your own business. If you're not careful, that emotional restraint can slowly turn into anxiety or loneliness. And that brings us to social life. Now, making friends is very difficult, and not just in Japan. For me, most of my friendships growing up came from school or the workplace. I rarely met people through clubs or random social events because I didn't need to back in Hong Kong. In Japan, I've made videos about this before, but many foreigners turn to international meetups or language exchange events. And this can work, but they are very hit or miss. I've been to many of these events, and I've also tried numerous dating apps, but the only friend I made through these apps and events is someone from Taiwan. I couldn't even make Japanese friends, which I don't really care. Like I don't have a very strong desire to make Japanese friends, but what I'm saying is I can't really give you any advice because I'm not successful in this department. But if I have to give you a piece of advice, you have to be the one who follows up after exchanging contact, because people tend to stick with the social circles they already have, right? So a one-time event isn't gonna just magically turn into a friendship. You have to constantly message and approach, and if the person doesn't reply you back, then maybe you have to move on, but you have to be the one who approaches others. Another common belief online I guess, is that Japanese co-workers only want strictly professional relationships because they want to keep their distance. But in my experience, this depends heavily on company culture and individual personalities. I've seen office romances, and I've also seen coworkers hang out on weekends. So if you're comfortable building much of your social life around work, it's possible, but it takes time. Speaking of office romances, let's talk about work culture in Japan. Now, Japan has a reputation for long working hours, and that reputation didn't come from nowhere. Many companies include a system often called fixed or assumed overtime. It's called minasi zangyo in Japanese, where a set number of overtime hours is built into your compensation. The number of hours varies by company, but is usually 20 to 40 hours per month on average. With that said, not all companies or managers are the same. I've had managers who discouraged leaving on time, and others who genuinely don't care as long as the work was done. The same goes for drinking culture. While after work drinking does happen, it depends heavily on your role and company. Personally, I've never went drinking unwillingly. Like if I drink with my colleagues, that's because I want to. The worst part of working life for me is commuting. Like the trains are extremely crowded, and during rush hour, you literally cannot breathe. Like it's so packed, like it's just horrible. It's horrible. Another challenging aspect is finding a job. Many recruiters will tell you that you have a 30% chance of getting into an interview. So that means out of 10 applications, you'll have 3 interviews. But it really depends on what job you apply. For me, I was a financial reporter, right? And I was applying to similar roles, like for example, publishers, and of course, news companies. And it's just very difficult. I applied to over 300 jobs, and maybe I got like 5 to 6 interviews. It really depends, I think, because for example, if you apply for a receptionist position at a hotel, I think you'll get the job pretty easily, provided that you know Japanese well enough. So to wrap this up, let's talk about quality of life in Tokyo. Now, Tokyo isn't a cheap city, but compared to cities like Hong Kong, it can be surprisingly flexible. You can find apartments around 60,000 yen per month if you live far away from the center of Tokyo. Although you may have to choose some older buildings, but to save money, that's the way to save money, right? You have to compromise. And many companies also cover commuting costs, so you don't have to worry about living very far away from the center of Tokyo. If you don't have like an idea of what 60,000 yen feels like, starting pay for new graduates is around 200,000 to 250,000 yen per month pre-tax. So after tax is probably 180,000 yen to 230,000 yen per month. Apart from your apartments, food can be also very affordable. At places like Saizeriya, which is a family restaurant, some pasta dishes or pizza cost only 400 yen. And that's very cheap, like 400 yen. In Hong Kong, you can barely buy 2 cup noodles. And so yeah, the quality is not gonna be like very amazing. Like it's acceptable, it's okay, but for the price, you're getting a very good deal. When it comes to convenience level, it really also depends heavily on where you live. Some neighborhoods have no convenience store, no supermarket nearby, but if you have a bicycle, it shouldn't be a problem. For me, I'm living in a very busy area, so like within 5 minutes of walking distance, there are already 3 convenience stores, and also there are many restaurants, and they usually open till very late at night, like 10 o'clock, some 8 o'clock, some 10 o'clock, some 12 o'clock. So it's very convenient, depending on where you live. For me, it's very convenient. Also, Tokyo's rail network is extremely developed and convenience stores cover most daily necessities. So even on a tight budget, you can live in a city that's safe, clean, well connected, and functional. Apart from social rules which take time to adjust to, Japan can be an excellent place to live, especially if you're able to do something you care about, whether it's professionally or just as a hobby. For me, Japan feels close to ideal as long as you don't place extreme importance on having an active social life. But that's just my experience, and your mileage may vary. And at the end of the day, moving to Japan isn't about whether it's a good or bad country, it's about whether the kind of life Japan offers matches what you want right now. And I think I've painted a rough picture for you, I hope. But whether Japan is suitable for you, that's the decision only you can make.